first organic farmers markets in Turkey, so that the small producers who produced organic food were able to sell it at a fair price. So we're setting up models in Turkey for food, and building food communities is also one of them. So in our experience, it's just starting in Turkey. There's a pilot project, a successful pilot project going on in Çanakkale. So again, we're taking this successful pilot project as a model in Turkey, and our aim is to multiply this pilot project so that in other cities there are more projects like this, and more people, more consumers can access good, healthy food with the fair prices, both to the consumer and the producer. So we have a great team here who are ready to talk about building food communities all around the world. I know that we have so much to learn from each other. So thank you so much for being here. And I will invite Mehmet Gürmen, who's in charge of our seed project, and who will be talking to you about building food communities. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome again. I'm Mehmet from Bugday Association. Today, in the morning sessions, we'll have a chance to listen to representatives from each of the organizing institutions, as well as many inspiring cases from all around the world. This conference is realized by a joint effort of Bugday Association, IFOAM and URGENCI networks. We'll start with the introductory speech of IFOAM President, dear Andre, is here. And then he'll speak about IFOAM and efforts for creating food communities. Then Elizabeth Henderson, an author in community-supported agriculture-related books, will tell us about urgency and CSA movements worldwide. And then the first part of the program will finish with my colleague Berkay from Bugday Association on CSA and PGS efforts in Turkey. Thank you again. And we'll continue with the timeline keeping of Justin. Now, Andre. Either there or here.
Well, firstly, look, Mehmet, thanks Gizem and everyone in Bugday for putting this on. I'd also like to thank our close friends in URGENCI, working with IFOAM, and I really hope that this is the beginning of something that really needs to be much bigger and scaled up globally. I had a choice of opening a lot of events because I'm the IFOAM president. This is the one I actually chose and requested because this is the most important of all the things that we are doing as far as I'm concerned. And this comes from me as a farmer, not as IFOAM president. For IFOAM, we have been very active in this whole concept of building food communities, and particularly in the concept of PGS. And PGS stands for Participatory Guarantee Systems. If we look at these systems, the reason why we chose the word Participatory Guarantee Systems, it comes back to one of the first meetings that IFOAM organised on it, and we looked at what are the characteristics of these food systems. Participation of farmers and consumers, or participation of the stakeholders, is the most important thing. What this is about, it's about empowerment and farmer empowerment. One of the things that I see as a farmer, I come from a farming family. We've farmed in Europe for thousands of years before my forebears came out to Australia in the 1850s and farmed. And I might be the last line of farmers if my youngest son doesn't take up farming. Because what we're seeing in all our countries, no one wants to farm. Not because we don't like farming, not because we aren't good at farming, and not because we can't grow good crops, because no one is prepared to pay us what it is worth. We are at the bottom of a market system that just exploits us. All the costs are put on us. And as a result, most farmers are cross-subsidised. When we look at farming models around the world, it's because one of the members of the family has the real job and goes into town and works and puts that money back into the farm. That's unsustainable. We need to turn this around. And the way we need to do it is through systems where the farmers aren't the bottom of the food chain, we are the top of it. We are empowered. We make those decisions as to how we market. This is critical. I know this for a fact that as a farmer, I struggled for years, and like one of the pioneers of PGS systems in my own country. In those days, we didn't know the word PGS. Now I know it was a PGS, but we got farmers together. We called it a marketing group. We set our own standard. We made our, we peer reviewed each other, and we went and employed someone to do and sell our products for us. In other words, we took ownership of it. And when we did that, we became successful farmers. And what I'm trying to say here is that there's no one model that is right. And we're going to hear a lot of different models today. All of them are needed. And it's up to farmers to choose what is the best. I think one of the critical things is understanding. Is it a CSA? A KK system? Is it a PGS group? Is it a co-op? Is it a farmer's market? There are lots of examples that we can use. But the critical thing is, in every one, we have to be active participants. We need to shorten the supply chain with our consumers and bring our consumers in as part of it, as partners with us. They're not the enemy. At the moment, in traditional marketing, consumers are essentially the enemy. The big question we get asked everywhere is, why is organic so expensive? Consumers are only thinking about the lowest price. But we bring them in, it's a different story. And I want to give the example of an organisation that we just gave our One World Award to this year, Han Salim in Korea. It's a farmers and consumers co-op. It actually has around 300,000 families in it, which is over 1,200,000 people are fed by this co-op. It has several thousand farmers. The consumer representatives and the farmers representatives meet every year and they decide on the prices. The co-op only takes 15% of the operating costs out of it. The result is this: those consumers get the best fresh, local, organic food at the same price or less than buying it from a supermarket. But the critical thing is that those farmers, several thousand farmers, and most of them have 2 hectares or less, they're smallholder farmers, they earn an income which is higher than the average income in Korea. And the average income in Korea by world standards is one of the best. So I'm using this as an example because, there is no reason why any farmer, doesn't matter how small they are, cannot earn an income that is better than average. The reason why it's not happening now is because we have marketing systems that exploit farmers. With the right system, we can turn it around and take farmers from the lowest socio-economic group on this planet to where they should be. As the producers of our food, they should be on the pedestal. And this is what we need to do. Lastly, I'd just like to say that IFOAM, we are very active on it. We are now, as part of our PGS, we are including CSAs and KK and all other systems. But what I'd like to show is the latest thing that we have done. We have, as part of a project over the last 3 years, have done a comparative study of PGSs on every continent. It's a very good one. The main study is actually going to be quite a very big document, but we've put this together, which you can download from our website. It's a very good document because it'll give you examples of participatory guarantee systems that work well and why they work well. It'll also give you examples of ones that didn't work and why they didn't work, which is equally important. But I recommend everybody go on our website. It's actually on our front page. Download it because it's a good starting point for you. And with that, I'd just like to end, because unfortunately I actually now have to go to other meetings. I'd actually like to be here all day because this is the one that's near and dear to my heart. I want to wish you the best. I look forward to hearing the results. And as I said before, I believe that this is the beginning of one of the most important things that we can do for our planet. So thank you very much and have a wonderful conference.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Elizabeth Henderson. I'm a farmer from the state of New York, not New York City. My farm is 7 hours drive from New York City. New York is a much bigger state and a big agricultural state, not what people usually imagine. I would like to start by asking a couple questions of you. Who's here in the audience? How many of you are farmers? Very good. Researchers? Organizers? How many people eat organic food? All right, so everybody is involved with agriculture. So welcome to you all on behalf of URGENCI. URGENCI, I'm the honorary president because my farm, Peacework, is one of the oldest community-supported agriculture projects in the United States. This is our 26th year this year. And I want to share with you this poster, which was put together by URGENCI. Maybe we could even hang it up here. Which has the basic principles of CSA, or AMAP, or Reciproco, written all together, and around the edges are the names of what CSA is called in different countries. So if you do some kind of CSA in your country, I would love to have you add your name to this chart so that we can have CSA all the way around the world and include everybody. Converting my farm from selling to restaurants and wholesale markets to a community-supported agriculture project transformed my experience as a farmer. We asked a lot of our members. They had to drive a whole hour in order to work for 4 hours, 3 times during the growing season, and then also spend 2 sessions helping distribute the food to one another in the city. So the people who joined our CSA were really active people. And when I go to demonstrations for peace, against war, against fracking in the Rochester area of New York, a large portion of the people are people I recognize because they've eaten some of my food. When I sold to wholesale markets, I met the person who was in charge of the warehouse, and that was it. It wasn't the same kind of personal relationship. And when our farm was initially on leased land, and when we turned to the members of our farm and asked if they would support us financially so that the Genesee Land Trust could buy the land from the farmer, the the wife of the farmer because the farmer had passed away. Within 14 months, the members of our CSA contributed enough money to the Genesee Land Trust so that it could buy the land and then lease it back to our farm. So we have a 25-year rolling lease. It rolls over every year, but the land is owned by our community. And after the first few years of doing the CSA, we shared our whole budget with the members. And the members were astonished at how little the farmers were earning. So they actually voted themselves to raise the price that they would pay so that we could get health insurance and a small retirement fund. So the CSA kept our farm alive, and it gave us a community of wonderful friends and supporters. And that's why I am here today introducing you to URGENCI and urging you to consider adapting CSA and its concepts to your culture if you can figure out how to do that. And I'm hoping that we may have some ideas that we can share with you that will enable you to do it. URGENCI is the international network of community-supported agriculture and defines it in these terms: local solidarity-based partnerships between farmers and the people they feed that are in essence a member farmer cooperative, whoever initiates it and whatever legal form it may take. There is no fixed way of organizing these partnerships. It is a framework to inspire communities to work together with their local farmers, provide mutual benefits, and reconnect people to the land where their food is grown. So I have visited hundreds of CSAs in the United States and in other countries around the world, and I can testify that no two are alike. Each project fits into the cultural and physical landscape in a unique way that suits the farmers and the loyal supporters of that farm, the people who are attracted to that piece of land or to that group of farmers who are working together. There is no set formula. Crops vary from farm to farm, from season to season. Each community finds its own method of distribution, of packaging, sets its own prices, and its own payment schedule. Yet underlying all of these very different projects is a set of shared values that were first set out in the 10 principles of Teikei in Japan in 1978, and which are the same principles for URGENCI, and recently are what you find in the charters of CSA networks in England and in Europe. So the basic platform of URGENCI is one, partnership. This partnership is characterized by a mutual commitment to supply by peasants and take up by the consumers of the food produced during each season. 2, local. This means promoting local exchange, local solidarity-based partnerships between producers and consumers are part of an active approach to relocalizing the economy. 3, solidarity. Partnerships are based on solidarity between actors and involve sharing both the risks and the benefits of healthy production that is adapted to the natural rhythm of the seasons and is respectful of the environment and of the natural and cultural heritage and health of the group of people involved. And paying a sufficient price up front in advance of receiving the food to enable peasants and their families to live in a dignified manner. And 4, the producer-consumer tandem is based on direct person-to-person contact and trust with no intermediaries or hierarchy and no subordination. So almost every country finds its own name for this model. In the United States and England, it's Community-Supported Agriculture, CSA. In France, AMAP, Association pour la production d'une agriculture paysanne. In Japan, Teikei. In Italy, GAS, Gruppi di Acquisto Solidale. In Germany, Solidarische Landwirtschaft. In Belgium, Groupe d'achat solidaire de l'agriculture paysanne. In Quebec and Canada, agriculture soutenue par la communauté. In Portugal, Reciproco. In Bulgaria, Siprichasna Zemljedelje. In Croatia, Grupa Solidarne Razmjene. In Romania, Asociație pentru susținerea agriculturii Taranesti, ASAT. And in Switzerland, Fédération Romande d'Agriculture Contractuelle de Proximité. So you can call it whatever resounds the most passionately and powerfully in your language and your culture. But the basic principles will be the same. The origins are in Japan. And for many years in Japan, the Japanese Organic Agriculture Association thought that this was the only way that people should get organic food, directly from a farmer or a group of farmers, without certification. And it took a long time for Joa to grudgingly admit that, well, maybe there were some uses for certification. Because the personal relationship of mutual friendship and trust between producer and consumer was to them one of the essential meanings of organic. They write, though the forms of teike vary, it is basically a direct distribution system. To carry it out, the producers and the consumers have talks and contact to deepen their mutual understanding. Both of them provide labor and capital to support their own delivery system. Teike is not only a practical idea, but also a dynamic philosophy to make people think of a better way of life, either as a producer or as a consumer, through their